Three really great guests today. We have Ryan Markowitz running for president. Molly. Ryan's in, where are you at, Ryan?
Yep, I'm out of Staten Island, New York.
Staten Island.
Can't tell.
Molly is what, oh, you can pass this. Actually, will you share? Molly's out of the Quad Cities.
Yes, I am. Nobody knows where that is, but it's fine.
Where is that, though? Because nobody actually knows that.
Who actually knows where the Quad Cities is? That's right. I am from Chicago, but I currently reside in Davenport, Iowa. So if you've never heard of it, you can Google it.
And Jan Michael McClintock, we're praying that Jan behaves himself today. It's questionable in the shorts, but he's from West Manhattan, otherwise known as
New Jersey.
Yes. So let's just get started. Oh, there goes all my notes. They all just got deleted. Amazing. Tell us how long you guys have been in real estate for, and how old you are, Ryan.
I'm in the business 3 years. I'm 23 years old.
I have been in the business for 8 years, and I'm not going to tell you how old I am.
How many years in the business?
8.
I think I just did my 4th year anniversary. I'm a pandemic agent, former pandemic agent.
So we've been working together. Ryan is the newest and the youngest. We've been working together now for a few months, 7 or 8 months with Molly, and we wanted to bring them up because they're having extraordinary success in different areas of their businesses. And we wanted to share some best practices because everybody here they're all solo, FYI. So any solo agents in the house?
You brave souls.
Yes. A lot of people think they need to join teams. I don't think so. I think you just need to get better at conversations. And so they're all solo agents. They're all doing extraordinarily well. Where are you getting your business from right now? We'll start with Ryan, since he's to my right.
So my 3 main sources are expireds, open houses, and sphere of influence. The main sources of my business has, SOI for listings, and for buyers, open houses has been extremely profitable. So that's why I get my business.
Can I ask a question, sir? How many open houses do you do a week a month?
Yeah, typically minimum 2 per week. Try your best to do 4 per week, okay? Do one at like 11 to 1, and then from 3 to 6, 2 separate houses on a Saturday and Sunday. That's what I would do.
So my business primarily when I started was built on open houses as well. I was new to the area. I did not have a sphere. So I did minimum of 3 open houses a weekend. Got creative with that. As I moved forward, now my business is a good amount of my sphere, referrals, but also the market changed and I had a database full of leads that I never touched because I didn't have to during COVID. And then things got a little tough and I realized that I needed some new tools to be able to talk on the phone because I had gotten away from it for so long. So right now I have a good amount of my business that is actually from calling prospects as well, who are in no way, shape, or form related to me.
I would say buyers for me are coming from Zillow because I advertise there, so that makes sense. And then on the listing side, I do a combination of postcards and handwritten letters.
So when we started working together, Jan, anybody else here buy Zillow leads or online leads? 3 people? That's it?
We don't buy Zillow.
Online
Google
leads.
pay-per-click leads, yeah.
Online
Facebook leads, yeah.
Facebook, right? Social media, those are online. You guys talk to people you don't know, correct? Right? I hope so. So when we first started working, Jan, what are the differences in your conversations like now with these warm transfers from Zillow versus what Zillow was trying? So you guys, I have a fundamental belief that Zillow wants you all to be search and show agents.
Yes.
And what they do and what the industry is teaching you guys to do, which is very different than what we do in this room, is they're teaching you to do what? Show homes, get a short-term agency agreement, and drop everything to accommodate a buyer. That sounds very reactionary and not very proactive. Sounds very stressful to me. That's why we need to breathe more. So what are you doing now versus what you were doing back in January?
You know, when I first started, I was just following the Zillow script, which is book the appointment at all costs, you know, regardless of my schedule and everything else. And but then I kind of started working with Vic and taking more of a doctor approach, triaging, you know, the call and coming from a place of curiosity, like what was it about the house that kind of made you call in today? And then adding in words like, well, you know, if the showing's possible, like, yeah, if possible, yeah, I'll check on those showings. And, you know, what really is bringing you to Skillman, you know, do a sorting question, like, is it a great commute, which is a joke, or great schools, because Skillman's not a great commute. Everyone's coming for the schools. So we do a sorting question, and then, you know, I try to book a buyer consultation and a showing, because that's just part of my process now. We have to do a buyer consultation.
So there's a couple things that I want to point out. One is a sorting question. All right, you guys should write this down. Okay, those beautiful notebooks I spent $14 a head on, use them. Right, those $3 pens. A sorting question is a this or that. Right, so he knows by his avatar where he's marketing, right? He knows his messaging. So he says, is it a commute thing or is it more of a school thing? And they're going to pick what? The schools, right? So we don't have to prepare for every single situation in the world when we're in selling. We have to prepare for what people are going to be giving us consistently. Now, you might get a left field answer, but he knows really what people are coming for. So it's called a sorting question. The other thing he touched on was neutral language, right? So neutral language is, so hey, I was, right, we'll go more into it at the end of the day, but neutral languaging is exactly what they teach you not to do in sales, and it's exactly what you should do if you want to have actual true human influence. So, hey, I mean, like, we could possibly go look at that house, but hey, real quick, I was curious, like, what made you even want to look at homes in the Skillman area that were 4-bed and 3-bath anyways? That question right there, pattern interrupts them. It triggers them to go into their mind and start telling you things. And now instead of you say, great, well, you're not pre-qualified and you're not looking to buy for 6 to 9, 12, 18, 36, 42 months. I'll put you on a drip, and they're on 14 drips. You guys, they're on 14 drips. The average buyer's on 11 drips. So, wow.
Just got electrocuted. I'd say the biggest change was what I was saying in the first 5 seconds or 3 seconds. I used to say, hey, this is Jan Michael with Real Broker. How are you? You know, and they'd be like, and I didn't know that was raising sales resistance. But once we started listening back to the calls, it was like so obvious, because telemarketers say the same goddamn thing when they call us. Like, this is whatever with the extra warranty department. How are you today? And, you know, if you think about that and you listen to it, you die inside. Like, when you hear that, someone says, how are you today? Like, that's full sales call. So if you just stop just that and say, yeah, just Jan Michael with Real Broker here in Montgomery. I see you're calling about 123 Banana Street. What was it that you
123 Sheridan Street.
Sheridan Street.
Sheridan Street today.
I didn't get Venmo'd for that, but I will say that if I do receive a Venmo.
I've seen your children's parties this year, and you're doing quite
I'm
fine.
doing fine. Amen. But yeah, so usually the problem is in the first 3 to 5 seconds of your phone call.
Molly, you're reactivating your dead leads.
Yes.
Anybody here have what I call antique leads? Like, you know, there's money in your antiques, but they're covered in dust and the carpet. Like, you got that white sheet over them to protect them, right? Yeah, we got a hand in the bag. Yeah, Mario's got a couple deals from his antique leads. You guys, there is money in your database, a lot. It's like the antiques. You just don't know what to do with them. So, Molly, you are activating your leads right now.
Yes.
What are you saying, right? You guys don't want to write this down. This shit is not going to help you.
Yeah, it's all bullshit.
Yeah, it's all awful. Only if you guys have a database, you do not want to write this down, okay? What are you saying? You have a really good one-liner. I think I stole it from you.
You did steal it from me.
So I'm giving you your credit. What is your one-liner that really gets people to open up?
Oh, I have to give it out? This is my secret.
Okay.
But what it is.
Everybody earmuffs. We'll give it to you later on, though.
Well, it's two-part. This will only work. I'll give you the line first, and then I'll tell you how it works. But the biggest thing that you can say is, how does this differ from your current situation? That's it. So, I'm looking at a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, how does this differ from your current situation? Because are they downsizing? Are they upsizing? You don't know. And when you're on the phone, salespeople in general have a tendency to get that happy puppy commission breath, got to set the appointment.
Can you tell them what Happy Puppy is?
Oh, happy puppy's like, oh, that's great. Oh, yeah, you're looking for a bigger house. But let me ask you guys a quick question here. I'm going to ask you guys for rapid fire answers. Can somebody give me a couple answers on what are good reasons people buy a house, like they're excited about? New kid, job, right? Promotion. Get married. Retirement. Kids out of the house. Okay, now, rapid fire. What are negative reasons for selling?
Divorce, job
Divorce.
loss.
Well, I
Job
don't
loss.
know about that. It could
Right,
be good.
job loss. Death. What else? Foreclosure. What else? Sick. What else? Bad location. Crime. Infrastructure. Schools. Right? How many negative things did I just list off compared to positive?
9,000.
So what makes you think that every time you're on the phone, they are in a good situation? Someone could be upsizing because their son-in-law died and their daughter's moving in with their 2 kids, so they need to add a bedroom. But you're all pumped for that upsize sale. How does your tonality come across? That's the one thing, and I'm going to brag on these guys, that switched my business, was being able to come from a service heart and a kindness mindset. And instead of thinking like, oh, how many appointments could I book this week? It's how many people could I help this week? And then the appointments come from there. But if you're not listening, that sales resistance is going to go up immediately and shut you down.
All right, y'all. You got your value for today. We'll just call it a day, and you guys can go out to the strip, get drunk, go to the pool. Yeah, go get drunk, and so what we call intention is super important, right? We're gonna go into that later today. You guys are earning your Venmos. Intention. What is your intention when you get on the phone? What is your intention at an open house? I know you all say relationships, but you're all thinking commission checks. Because we don't call people after we close. And we only call to check up and follow up on them. See, I can give you the magic scripts and the words, but sometimes it's what we shouldn't be saying that we should be focused on, not what we should be saying. Hey, how are you doing today? Right? Like the happy puppy tonality. Because the happy puppy is where you hear the one word you were looking for and you just start verbally diarrheaing all over them. Like, it's wild. And so what we have to do is we need to slow down. That's why we did the breathing thing. We have to see ourselves with the prospect. It's not about the, oh my God, let's go get you pre-approved. No, that's a broken process, right? Ryan is doing something phenomenal inside of open houses, right? And this is the right process, all right? There's a Zillow and an industry process, which is going to create you to be search and show Redfin agents. There's zero value for you to go open a lockbox, just so you know. But there's a ton of value when you can walk them through a actual great buyer presentation as a doctor, as Jan said, to a patient. Because is buying a home complicated? Yes or yes? Is opening a door complicated? Why do you think buyers feel we have no value? Because the marketplace has trained them to do what? Ask agents to do what? Okay. Ryan, what are you doing inside of your open houses that is so successful?
Yep. So what I am doing is, instead of what I used to do, right?
What did you used to do?
Right. That's what I'm. Yeah. So what I used to did was I did what the average agent did when they came in. Welcome to the open house. What brought you in today? How many bedrooms are you looking for in your next house? How many bathrooms? Oh, well, do you rent now or do you own a home? Sales, sucky questions.
Yeah, don't swear on this stage.
Yeah,
That
I'm
shit's
sorry.
not allowed.
Yeah. But now what I'm doing is when they come into the door, I am connecting with them emotionally. Instead of asking questions like, do you own a home or do you rent? You know, what would be different about your current situation that you're living in compared to what you'll be moving into? How much easier does that question sound compared to the do you own or do you rent? Because if I hear do you own or do you rent, I'm thinking in my head, this person just wants a commission check. That's what I'm thinking. How, when are you looking to buy? Those kind of questions are no good. And what I did differently into the next open house is I actually connected with the clients and I asked them good, effective questions that were actually meaningful, that didn't create sales resistance.
So a follow-up question from an open house perspective, because you're like, you and I were having a chat probably I think like a couple weeks ago where you're like, and then I booked 8 appointments for one open house. Like maybe walk everyone through what you're doing. Obviously we walk them through what you're doing when they come in the house. How are you setting these appointments? How are you following up with these appointments? Can you say a majority of your business is coming from open houses?
Yeah.
Like give us the goods.
Yep. So I guess, I'll walk through the entire process. Molly comes in. I say, hello, Molly, how are you? My name is Ryan. I introduce myself.
You guys want to role play?
Yeah, let's role play this.
Here's a microphone.
Let's role play this.
I can't wait.
Okay. You're gonna stand. All right. So you come into the house.
Ding dong.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Ryan Markowitz.
Polly. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Come on in. Did you find us through the signs or did you see us online?
Well, I kind of go through them online, but I was driving around and I saw something so much, and I thought I'd stop in. But,
Okay.
I'm just looking.
Yeah, no worries. So the owner, does require everyone to sign in just so that he has a record of everyone who came in today. So, can I get your name, number, email, and then you sign in?
Do I bring you my phone number?
Yes.
8675.
Yep. So you're walking through the house. There are actually some times where I'll just let them walk the house and see the home first and then speak after. So let's go that route. You walked the house, you saw it. So Molly, what did you think about the property?
It's nice. It's really nice.
Okay. You guys currently live in the area, or do you come from Brooklyn like everybody else?
No, actually, I live like a couple blocks down the street. I just kind of nosy, just kind of like looking around.
Oh, interesting. Okay. And what kind of brought you into this property? Like, are you nosy about?
Well, I mean, our house is like 3-bedroom. I could use another. We're kind of running out of space. But again, I just like looking.
Yeah, no worries, of course. And what would that extra space do for you and your family in the long run?
Well, I mean, the kids share a bedroom right now, and they're kind of all over the place, and I work from home, so
Right.
it's kind of a shit show.
Got it. Okay. And how is that kind of impacted in your daily life? Why is it a shit show?
Well, I mean, just loud. It's really loud. Everybody's on top of each other. It's
Yeah.
really, really loud.
Yeah. Does that affect you when you're working from home and everything?
Oh, yeah, you got somebody banging
Oh,
on the door
man.
in summer vacation.
Yeah.
Somebody always needs something, like a popsicle or a Band-Aid. or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Sometimes it's nice when someone walks in with the popsicle while working, because I do like popsicles. So yeah, I do. Well, Molly, I'm just kind of curious. Has anyone kind of walked you through the 3 most important things to know when you're, moving in from a smaller house into a bigger one?
No, we've been in our house for a while. It's been a while.
That could be a little problematic. And I know that, we just met at Blue and you're kind of just, nosy and looking currently and not in a rush. But I mean, if you wouldn't be opposed as, a possible next step, we could maybe, set some time aside in our calendars just to go through that entire process and strategy and, help you come up with a long-term game plan. Would you maybe find that helpful?
Well, yeah. I mean, is it okay if I'm
Okay.
not ready to buy right this second?
No, of course not. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty young. I'll be in this business for a pretty long time. So, yeah, I'm not going anywhere. So, do weekends work for you? Okay.
Round of applause. Okay. So let's break that down. Was that good? Could you guys see why he booked like 8 appointments from his open houses? Anybody here ever do an open house like 4, 5, 6 in a row and you book nothing? Don't raise your hand. I'm not going to put you on the spot. There's a couple things that we did really well. One, was Molly ready to buy? Was she ready to buy? Is she ready to buy? Is she kind of ready to buy? Is she kind of motivated? But she told you she's not. But then as you go through and you ask her the question, you guys see I take notes, sorry. So I got to take notes. She said things like, what? That made you know that she was more ready maybe than what she let on. Yeah. Give me the microphone.
Yeah. It's loud in the house, and it's affecting my daily life, and it's affecting my work because I work from home, and the kids screaming is not helping me.
And then he asked a follow-up question. This is called probing and clarifying. All right? If you don't probe and clarify, you aren't able to get the prospect. See, as realtors, we're really good at labeling problems. But if you label the problem, right? Aldo and I and Colton worked on this the other day in the hotel room. If you label the problem, whose problem is it actually, yours or theirs? Oh yeah, well that sucks because like you're not the one buying the house. So he got her to label herself, and he used humor, playful energy, right, in order to get that. So he asked the question like, what did you actually ask?
Did I ask what was different about your home that you're living in compared to what you're moving into, or no?
You asked how extra room would change.
Oh yes, exactly. So you mentioned that you needed extra space. So I listened and I asked, what would that extra space do for you and your family?
And then she answered, oh, it would do this, it was this. And then he used that to still further open the pain, right? He also used what we call conversational cues. Conversational, oh, right, oh, okay, right. Now, I know some of us, like when I was in 2nd grade, I had a speech teacher, and she said, don't use the ums, the oohs, and the ahs. So I eradicated those from my vocabulary. But the stutter is actually conversational, right? So he was using conversationals, and as Molly was talking, he was able to continue, okay. And when we use conversational cues, it allows us to cut into the conversation instead of just somebody rambling on and on and on. Because oftentimes, here's what happens. Ryan asked Molly a great question. Molly starts answering. Molly's going to then say what? Because he's a slimy salesperson wearing a red tie and a suit. Scary man. And he's not really, but he looks scary. All 23 years of him, we love you, right? Here's what happens. Salesperson, enemy. Right now, if we go back to prehistoric age, we have to think about why the brain wants to protect us. Because he wants to take our resources. When he takes resources, we are now left out of the cave, and now Cody is out of the cave, and the tiger eats Cody, and Cody dies. He is the saber-toothed tiger, and Molly is like, I gotta protect myself. Oh, that's crazy shit. So now he's using verbal cues, conversational cues, and he's working his way into the conversation. Now Molly's about to say, but it's not that big of a deal. We've been coping with it for so long now. It's totally fine. We can just figure out the Zooms. But Ryan knew that was coming because he was consciously listening in front of like 60 people. That's a little nerve-wracking. But he was... Yeah, you did great. You did good.
Yeah, I think the stuttering was from being nervous, to be honest with you.
So it's a little nerve-wracking, right? But because he practiced it, he knew exactly where she was going to come. So, right, well, tell me a little bit more about how's that affecting you, right? The other thing is that he used a lot of neutral language. No worries, no worries, no worries. Every time she did what? She tried to pull back. Oh, yeah, no worries. It doesn't take a lot to actually care about people, but it starts with how you set your intention of what you're going to do. So, really great. I don't want to throw that. I was about to, and then I was like, maybe not a good idea.
So I have a follow-up question for Jan, and we're gonna open it up for any questions you guys have for these guys as well. Right now, Jan, so who here is doing mailers? who has a mailer strategy? Hello? Door knocking strategy? Anyone have a door knocking strategy? Okay, cool. So you mentioned you're doing mailers. So when you get an inbound lead from a mailer, it's like, like maybe you could talk a little bit about what you're doing right now from a listing perspective. Because like you talk a little bit about how many listings you've had this year versus last year.
Yeah.
So obviously you have a ton of inbound stuff from the stuff you're doing, but you're doing a lot of outbound stuff. So can you walk us through really quickly, like what you're doing to get those listings?
Yeah.
How many listings you've got this year?
Sure.
Like walk them through the step-by-step playbook.
Well, my listings are coming from referrals and mailers. So first thing with mailers is to be consistent. Can't do this for 3 months and then be like, that didn't work. On to the next thing, it's not going to work. So I rotate offers, and I rotate between handwritten envelopes and postcards. Handwritten envelopes are super powerful because they have a high open rate. So if you handwrite the address, you don't even have to put the seller's name. You don't even have to put a return address or stamp. I just put 123 Banana Street, Skillman, New Jersey.
Sheridan Street.
Sure. Like I said, I didn't get paid, so I will be saying Banana Street. Oh yeah, I did have a Wagyu steak last night. Okay, Sheridan Street.
I got a sale.
They don't know what it is, so they're like, oh my God, is this a bill from the landscaper? Is this a serial killer? So they're gonna open it. And when they open it, you have to have a good offer in there. So there's a lot of offers you could have. One is, I have a buyer, but what I do with those letters is I'll tell the story of the buyer, why they're looking. It's a real person because I have them coming from Zillow, right? And I'll circle prospect outside of my farm that I do every month. I'll also circle prospect around recent sales. Be like, John and Susie actually got second place on the bidding war that was next door, and I'll leave out some details. The price, went really high. If you're interested in possibly entertaining an offer from my motivated clients, scan this QR code to learn more about their story. And then that QR code goes to Then that QR code goes to an unlisted YouTube video where I'll talk about them in more detail. Now we're meeting face to face. Now I'm pixeled on their YouTube, or they're pixeled on my YouTube, and now they see all my content, and they're more comfortable with me to reaching out. And because I'll do a call to action in the YouTube video that only they see, talking about the buyers. That's just one example of what you could do in a letter. But it starts with the envelope. It starts with the envelope. Use blue ink. I'm not kidding. Black ink looks like it could have been done by a printing machine. I do have a ghostwriter machine to write the envelopes now that I've scaled up production.
What's that?
It's called Ghostwriter. It's a robot that writes the envelopes out. You could do like 1,000 envelopes every 2 hours. So that's worth the investment, in my opinion. Otherwise, you have to pay a company like Audience or pay your neighbor's kid to sit there and write them. But you don't have to do this at massive scale because you're getting such a high open rate. If you're just circle prospecting with letters, you just need to do a couple hundred.
Can
do that in 2 hours.
you talk about your circle prospecting on top of the letters?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, calling?
Circle prospecting.
What do you mean?
Well, yeah. Like,
Oh.
like you pick up the phone and it's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's a strange thing to do
So,
in this industry.
what's crazy is some of these people actually call me. And I used to be surprised by this and be like, oh shit, I don't know what to say. That's one of the reasons I started reaching out to these guys. I'm like, I actually don't know what to say when they call me. I'm like, this is a problem now. Because I'd be like, oh, okay. Well, when can I come over? So, but now I'm like, oh, what was it you saw about the letter that made you want to reach out? It's a totally different conversation now. If you come from curious, neutral tone, build a little bit of rapport, and why they're calling to begin with. And what I've noticed, this is crazy, and Vic knows this story, I've been doing this for years. So some of these sellers save my letter in a drawer for 2 years. And they'll be like, is John and Susie still looking for a home? My dog's just died and I'm ready to sell. And it's like a $2 million house. I'm like, are you kidding me? You waited 2 years? Like this was in your junk drawer? But they're so connected to it and it's so personal, they feel like we already met and they just didn't reach out yet, but they save these letters because they feel so personal. And then postcards, real quick, I'll rotate offers. You know, I'll do just listed, just sold, but on the back, I'll try to do a little Grey's Anatomy, tell the story of the house, the timeline. Here's when I did my home design consultation. Here's when we did renovations. Here's when we did the, listing price strategy, so that they know it's a process. And a lot of the sellers will reach out to me partly because they see I have, oh, you have home designers, you have stagers, you have declutter experts. Like I didn't know you had that. Like that's why I'm not listing, because I don't want to do anything. Especially in the luxury market, they want white glove service. They want to know you have that team behind you that will take care of everything that they don't want to do. A lot of people are in big homes that they don't need, and they need to sell them. They just don't know how or who to talk to. They don't know stagers. They don't know moving companies. So they're just like stuck. So if you put the right offer out, they'll reach out because they know you have the solution.
Do you guys want me to break that down for you real quick? Because he shared a lot, and there's awesomeness in there. One, he rotates cards, right? Blue ink only. Handwritten. Two, he has an offer, right? The offer is super easy to get to because it's a QR code. Anybody here in program to use QR codes for everything post-COVID? Yeah, we don't even get menus anymore. I'm like, yo, can I get something to read? I don't want to use my phone. No menus. Everything's a QR code. Super easy. It's trained behavior, right? Pavlov's dog, ring the bell, dog gets a treat, ring the bell, dog gets a treat. Guess what? The QR code, they get a treat because what? That's how we get our food now. We're Pavlov's dog. I know, you guys hate me now. Circle prospecting. It's not enough to just send the mailers. You actually have to pick up this thing. You guys, this isn't just a thing to send memes while you're taking poops at, okay? I know your guys' bowels. Like, yeah, I know. You know how I know? Cody sends me 9 memes in a row. And I'm like, what time is it? Oh, yeah, it's 8 o'clock. Yep, Cody had his first coffee. You guys, Google pays a lot for that data. Why don't we think about data better, right? Circle prospect on top of the letters. 4, he used their name, John and Susie. Did you guys catch that? Personalization, John and Susie. It's not fake because I know the expired script better than you do. And in the expired script, it says, oh, hey, well, I have a buyer. No, you don't. Because if you had a buyer, you'd say, hey, John and Susie are looking in blank and blank and blank neighborhood for this exact thing. He then uses the price. Hey, they were willing to pay a lot of money, or they got beat out by a fair market value, right? But he drops in price with a lot of abstract knowledge around it. We didn't share an exact price. We just shared, hey, they tried to get a home and they were willing to pay and they didn't get it for some reason. He then also used the word possibly. Hey, would you guys be interested in possibly entertaining an offer? Is that right? Neutral language again, all right? Not, hey, what if you guys, I've listened to the calls, and I know some of you have made the calls where you say, if I bring you an offer that you want from a buyer, would you be motivated to sell? And the seller says no, even though they want to say yes. Why? You're the saber-toothed tiger. Proof over promise, right? He shows on the back of his postcard, proof over promise. He shows you exactly what he's doing. He shows a process. Process creates trust. Process creates security. Without the process, right? Cody loves processes. I hate them. They build trust because when somebody comes into your world with a process, they know exactly what they're going to get. It's replicatable. You want referrals? Anybody here like referrals? Yeah, we do too. You know how you get referrals? Replicatable processes. People will not refer you as an agent no matter how good of a job you did unless they know that their friend is going to go through a replicatable process. This just winging it shit, 2024, you got to fucking stop. OAG, write this down. OAG, we're going to talk about it. OAG, overarching goal. Why'd you guys reach out in the first place to get a home valuation? Why'd you guys reach out? Why did you guys keep this postcard for 5 years and finally call me today? It's called an overarching goal. It allows you to actually know what they want. Oh, and this one's brilliant. They're all pretty good, but this one's brilliant. He named everything he does with some sexy name. Sharon and Cody are really good at it. I'm just like, yeah, we sell stuff. How do you name your stagers and your designers?
A home design team.
Home design team. You might, I don't know, sounds pretty basic. You might want to steal that. What else did you say?
Professional organizers, declutter experts.
Declutter experts. I want a declutter expert for our desk back there. Like, holy crap, we've only been here for 2 hours. Do you think that when you want to, anybody want to sell higher priced homes? One person? We don't need to talk about it then. All right, cool. Thanks for coming. This is how you guys get into the higher end market. People with money don't have time. People with time sometimes don't have money. Not always. So if you want to get into a higher end market, hey man, if I could bring over my team that declutters, like we have experts that do that. We have home designers, right? You all talk about stagers. Oh yeah, and if you decide that you want to list with us, you don't have to, but if you decide you want to list with us, right, we're actually going to bring over our studio style photographers and videographers, because you all do professional photos. He does studio style. They're like, what's that? Oh yeah, like what? Has anybody actually walked you through like what it takes to sell a home in today's market? No. Oh, okay, that could be problematic. Why don't we do this? Why don't we put some time aside on both of our calendars? It's called the game plan frame. We're going to go over it later. So was that fire? Can you guys implement that relatively easy on like a 250 to 500 home farm in your market right now?
I also want to point out letters work better in luxury
Why?
because those sellers are looking for convenience, not price. They're more likely to sell off market than any other price range.
They don't want people coming through their home.
They don't want people touching their purses and their walk-in closets. They're like, no.
Let's set some context for everyone here. So how many listings did you have this time last year, and how many listings with your new strategy do you have this year?
I'm going to double this year versus last year, and I'm not spending one more dollar on marketing. I'm going to go from 13 million to 26 to 30 million, just having better frameworks in my conversations.
What questions do you guys have for anyone here on the panel? I want to open it up to give you an opportunity to ask a mailing question, an open house question. Yeah, awesome. So we'll start with Jim. I'll be the...
You gonna be the runner? Thank you.
I'll ask the boring question. With all the off-market deals or pocket listing deals you're doing, have you had any issues with MLS harassing you over it not being in the MLS?
I put it in the MLS after I sell it.
That's one way to do it.
Yeah.
What? New Jersey, greater Princeton area. And I'm not doing a lot of off-market deals. I did 2 this year. Most of them go on the market. Once we do the presentation, it's up to them. Like, do you pursue? Here's the options.
With all of your sexy services that you offer on here, is that something that you pay out of pocket for?
Of course.
Or do you charge higher?
I pay. Yeah, build it into my fee. It's part of my value proposition.
So yeah, I have an open house question actually. When you have that conversation, the first thought to me was, that seems a little awkward to stand there and speak that long with somebody before they see the house. Right. So what I tend to do is I tend to let the people...
No, that was after they saw the house. Oh, sorry.
No, so I'm saying when you first have that conversation at the open house with the buyer coming in, typically I like to have a conversation while we're walking through the house. Do you do that while you're walking through the house, or you have the conversation first and then show them the house?
Right, yeah. So I've actually explored those 2 options. Some of them I do while I walk through the house with them. Some of them I actually just have them sign in and let them look around the house on their own while I just sit there. And when they come back, then I have the conversation. And I'm pretty confident to say that the second option, letting them walk around first, then after they walk through the house, then having the conversation, has worked better because they feel more comfortable considering the fact that I'm not on top of them while looking in the house. So I've actually explored those options, and the second one is definitely better.
This question, I'm Gail. This question is for Jane. Your mailers, do you do them or do you have a VA do them for you? Or do you use a service that
Postcards, I use a printing service. I think I use Reminder Media. But what's important about the farm is I don't just do it on a zip code. I'm doing smart farming. So I have a very specific niche I'm going for. I want the owners to be 50 plus years old. I want them to make sure they're in the house at least 7 years and they have at least 40% equity. Now you know the people getting these letters and postcards are people that are likely have kids that are out of college. They're in a big empty house. I'm also targeting certain home values, so 800,000 and up. So now I know I'm most likely going to be getting a large home, empty home. If I keep hitting them with the right offers and value, eventually they're going to be like, what the hell are we doing here? This guy's got all the answers. Let's call him. But it was easy. I think I probably used batch leads to get the addresses. Yeah, or audience. When I was initially getting the envelopes through them, they gave me the data, I think. It's not hard to get. Tax record data, it's all public information.
On the open houses, you said, has anyone ever walked you through the 3 things you need to know? I didn't get the rest of that.
Yeah, so great question. Very good question. So if they ask you what are the 3 things, you somehow created sales resistance, okay? It's as simple as that.
It's nice seeing you guys. I'm
He's
done.
stealing your thunder here, Vic. This is the second half of the training.
Oh,
You're doing.
damn it.
Did you say that you actually have what do you call it?
Oh yeah. So let's say, okay, let's role play that real quick. Let's say you ask me, what are the 3 things? So ask me when I hit you with the game plan frame. Ask me what are the 3 things.
So what are those 3 things?
Yeah, well, I mean, has anyone kind of gone through with you the 3 pricing strategies in real estate and how that impacts the market dynamics like aspirational, perceived market, or event-based pricing? Has anyone kind of gone through that with you?
No, they haven't.
Oh, okay, that could be problematic, and bam, done.
Well, it sounds like when you say they sign up for this thing, those are the things that you send to them if they give you your email address.
Actually,
It sounds like we're giving them a lead magnet when you went to yes, by times, giving them that little.
I'll give you this.
oh yeah, you're. I call it dangling the cheese.
But the thing you're dangling is the 3 pricing strategies.
Yeah, and there'll be other things in the presentation, but that's just one of the ways. Another way you could take it is offer strategy. There's a bunch of ways you can go.
It's all free.
It's not about the 3 things, and here's what you could say. So the game plan frame, we're going to go over it later, but the game plan frame is the most universal way to book an appointment in any sales setting. So you don't have to use the top 3. So if somebody's in the market to buy right now, you'll say, hey, has anybody walked you through the top 3 strategies on how to write a winning offer? They're never going to say no unless your tonality sucks. Has anybody ever walked you through how to buy a house today, the top 3 strategies? That's going to get you sales resistance. But if you're conversational, hey, has anybody ever walked you through the top 3 strategies on how to write winning offers actually in today's market? Has anybody done that for you? They're gonna be like, well, no, because no agents do that. I know that because 96 to 98% of solo agents don't know how to ask for an appointment. They don't do that because they don't have a great buyer presentation. So why would you ask somebody to sit down with you when you don't know what to say on the next step? But you could also say, let's say you have a Molly situation, right? So Molly's 6 months out. We're not in a rush. Yeah, no worries. Has anybody actually sat down to share with you the top strategies so that when you are ready to purchase a home, you know exactly the right step to go to? Well, no. Oh, okay. Well, it could be beneficial if we, right? And you go right back into it. So the game plan frame, I could use it with coaching. I can use it with marketing. I could use it with wellness services. I could use it with You throw it out at me, I could make the game plan framework instantly. Because it's not about the top 3 things, it's about what the person said prior. And then you loop it back. Good job, John.
It's actually 2 things. One is a comment, and then I have a question. So just a quick comment about open houses. I'm very new in the real estate, but I've been a client a couple of times, so I can give a good perspective on that. I personally hate when the agent follows me around when I explore the open house. I hate that. And my husband and I bought like 4 homes together. And out of all of the open houses we've been to, only maybe like 1 or 2 agents actually asked me, do you want to explore the home by yourself, or would you like me to, like accompany you and kind of like help you out? And the second I hear this question, I really appreciate it. I'm like, wow, this is like amazing, because I don't want anyone to, I hate people like shop assistants following me around in shops, and
Saber-toothed tigers chasing you.
So this is just like just a side note. And a question is about client prospecting. So what was the wildest objection
Go for it, Molly.
had to experience, how you dealt with it? So that's like part number 1, the wildest thing.
Okay.
And the second part of the question is, what's the most common objection you come with, like weakness, and how do you deal with that?
I'm going to jump in here for a second, and then we'll let it over there. So a couple different things. One, great rebuttal to the when people are following you around, or if you are doing open houses. How many people here are actually from the Midwest? Quick raise of hands. All right. How many people follow around you in the Midwest? How many agents follow you around? Very few. So it's a Midwest thing. It's a Midwest nice. One of the things that you can do from the East or the West Coast is when someone, when you're meeting with a potential client and they're walking in, hey, I'm going to let you walk around the house. I don't want to be one of those agents who follows you around. Nobody likes those. Immediately lowers their resistance. They're more likely to come back and ask you a question because they're not afraid that you're going to be following them around the house with commission breath, happy puppy. Oh, you like that closet? I mean, I don't care about the closet, right? More interested in the backyard, but you didn't ask me that, right? So there's different techniques. Self-depreciating works, a little bit of humor. If you follow someone around, well, think about it with all of you. How many of you have ever gone in and like bought a couch before? Any piece of furniture? How many people avoid the salesperson the minute they walk in? You're on your phone, right? Taking a fake call, hoping one of your children throws a tantrum, right? So you can just have an avoidance. Oh, I really got to pee, right? You're avoiding them. And why are you avoiding them? Because they're going to try and sell you. And if you're in there, though, like we've talked about, are you like just in there to browse, or do you really need a couch?
I need a couch.
You're just trying to size up who you actually want to buy it from. And that's exactly how it should be at every open house and every phone call. When you contact a prospect, they're sizing you up to see if they want to work with you, because you do the same thing to everybody else. So when you have someone come into an open house and they're giving you objections, yeah, hey, no worries, take a look around. I'll be in the kitchen if you have any questions. And then when they circle back to the kitchen, oh yeah, so did you see that finished basement that walks out, to the half-acre lot? Like, it's pretty nice, isn't it? Yeah, but you know what? I really was looking for something with a master bathroom because I don't have one right now. Boom. There's where you can start asking sorting questions. How does it differ than your current situation? So those are some of the ways that you can overcome that. Then from that also, and I'll give this over to Ryan, booking appointments from there too, right? How fast and furious are your open houses? Honest question. Do you have a ton of people or like 3?
I'm in the middle.
Right? So yeah, if you have 3 people who come in your open house, you're more likely to set an appointment because you have more time. You also have more time to be a creep, so you got to be aware of that, right? That's the other part of it, because you're bored. You're like, my numbers are down. Oh, this person's alone in the house. Creepy, right? Like, back off. You're more likely to set an appointment when you have less time because you're disinterested. And not really to them. You have it in the back of your mind, but they think that you're disinterested, so it lowers their resistance. It's all about lowering your resistance, whether it's an open house, a prospect call, a first appointment, anything along those lines. Make sure that you're lowering the resistance. And whatever you're doing, if somebody puts up a wall, just like you do the furniture guy, the car guy, the guy who calls you on the phone about insurance, the 8,000 texts you get as a realtor about health insurance that you don't give a shit about, right? Any of those. You're not going to answer that text, are you? No.
I have a good open house tip. So one thing you do to cut down the awkwardness is have some music playing. You know, if you think about retail shopping, they always have like loungy, fun music. So why not do that at your open house? You know, it gets people in the buying mood. It's not awkward. It feels like there's more people there than there are. And in the luxury market, sometimes what I do is I'll bring a live sax player that'll play along, you know, the music while it's there. And then one reason I do that is so people talk about it. Not that I'm getting a great ROI, even though I do have gotten listings because I want a sax player too. You know, it's not a bad thing to do. Or if they have a piano, hire an actual piano player to play. So that not only will the buyers remember the house, but the neighbors that come and see that, they're like, no, I've never seen a live musician at an open house. This is insane. And you get great content from it. And when you like send out letters to the neighborhood promoting the open house, be like, Thursday, live sax player, Friday, piano player. You know, it's like, holy shit, this guy's bringing throwing the kitchen sink at this thing. I love that marketing. You know, they see like you're going above and beyond. And when you're in like $1.5, $2 million price range, if you spend a few $1,000s on marketing, you're going to make it back just because of the referrals.
Once upon a time, I had my own brokerage where we subscribed to the commissions agent. We got leads every month that our agents never used successfully. But I still have those leads. So I'd be curious if there's a plan for resuscitating those. And also, I heard something about expired program before, and hear more about what people do.
Expired, I don't think.
Covert expired.
So database leads.
How do you revive the antique?
I use Commissions Inc., actually. And true confession, since we're in a safe space here, right? Safe space. I had over 6,000 aged leads in there that I did not touch. 6,000. I'm kind of embarrassed to say that because during COVID, they reached out. Great. I would contact them. If not, they sat in there. They're on a drip. They got emails, right? The text, the AI that comes through. Didn't touch them. So that's actually where I had started working with Sheridan Street, and I think they were both a little appalled at the amount of lack of prospecting I did at the time. Again,
we all are.
because I didn't like to talk. I know. I didn't like to talk on the phone. I didn't want to pick up the phone. Honestly, that's really what it was. And so I just thought to myself, man, I'm wasting money on these. So I actually got in contact with them. They went through my database. I used the live transfer. So they would start calling all of those old leads that I had and do a live transfer. Well, that's half the battle. You have to know how to talk after that, but they do a great job of qualifying. As an example, I closed a lead last month that signed up from Sync in 2020. So it is all about getting back into those aged leads because they don't know what they're clicking on half the time. You know, how'd you get my information? Well, you signed up. No, I didn't. Okay, so where do we go from here? You know, so Sheridan Street's actually great with that. If you don't want to make the calls, right? If you don't want to sit there and take the 6,000 list and have paralysis on where to begin, you can, and go down the list, right? Or you're like, tomorrow I'm going to do it, and then you don't because you don't want to, so you find an excuse not to do it, right? So for me, it was an advantage to use Sheridan Street, who did it for me. But from doing that, I got more comfortable on the phone. I was more comfortable making calls. I could pick up the phone and do it myself all of a sudden after 8 years of not really having to do it before, because I used to be able to get business from open houses. COVID killed that. So what was I going to do after the fact and everything went down? So I do recommend when you are talking with those leads, and we'll talk about this a little bit later.
Well, what do you say?
What do I say when I call them?
Yeah, like so you have an age lead, 2, 3, 4 years in the database.
Oh yeah. So hey, hey Jan. Hey, is this Jan?
Yeah.
Hey Jan. This is just Molly Meekus from Real Broker. Hey, you know what? I was going through my database, And I realized that, some of this data has been there for a bit. So
Hold on.
Oh, okay. Hey,
Get
no
off
problem.
the table, god damn it.
I
Sorry, my kids are climbing all over the kitchen counter, trying to make these chicken nuggets, and the dogs
Oh
bite my
yeah,
ankles.
yeah. They can be a handful. So hey, while I've got you real quick, I just want to update this. Have you guys found something, or are you guys still currently looking?
Oh, the Zillows and the people, they send me all this stuff. I don't have time to
Oh,
look
yeah.
at it.
They send a
everything's
lot.
overpriced
Yeah.
because of you people.
Though you know what? There's a lot
Your
of there's a
commissions.
lot. I know there's a lot of different things with commission and overpaid and yeah, those.
Yeah, it's
I know
really
us
confusing.
realtors, we're just the worst. However, we are not talking about politics today. So in that noble, hey, no worries at all. I just wanted to make sure here. So should I take you off the list here, or is this something that you guys are still kind of looking, like not necessarily right now, but?
I do. We need something. Like, this is not sustainable, but I just don't have time to figure it out.
Oh, okay, sustainable. So what is your current situation like?
Well, we're in a townhouse.
Okay.
You got to drag the stroller upstairs and the
Yeah.
groceries, and the
Yeah.
dogs bite my ankles.
Stroller, yeah. So how many kids do you have?
We got 3 that are known. 3.
Three. Okay, that's a good
3
number.
known kids.
Yeah, three known children. All right, that I will make a note of that. So, in looking in here, you were clicking on 4-bedroom home. Is that something that still fits your needs? Do you guys need something a little smaller, something a little bigger? It sounds like the stairs in the townhouse with the stroller is
Yeah.
kind of the issue right now.
Love an expanded ranch.
Okay.
Just go right from the kitchen, face plant on the bed. Eating late at night is awesome for me.
Yeah,
And
me too. You only hear me on the phone. You should see me in person. I definitely do not have a gym body.
and then just streamline the groceries right to the kitchen.
Right.
We're just all about logistics these days.
Right, I understand. So is there anything else with the children, the logistics of the groceries that's a little bit problematic for you right now?
Yeah, with like some storage in the back.
Okay.
For my golf clubs and hobbies.
Got it. So how are you going to storing it?
In my trunk of my car.
Oh.
With the other.
So there's
kid
no room for
toys.
the stroller.
There's no room. There's no room.
There's no room. That could be difficult. I can, there's different things with that. So do you want us to keep going on this, or?
No, that was good.
All the time.
I didn't know where to stop. I was just
I'm sorry.
We were over
Sorry
there
about
watching the comedy show. So most people aren't going to be like Jan, right? They're not going to be.
Or they are.
Yeah, but again, what she did was, she was super calm, right? A lot of us, if we got somebody like this guy, would be like sweating bullets. We wouldn't know where to go next, right? And that's a problem, because that's why we don't call our leads, because we don't know where to go next. So she did a couple of things. She's like, oh yeah. She got playful, right? Humor is so powerful. Do y'all like fun people, or do you like boring people? Who said boring? Who said boring over there? The one person. That's all right. There's somebody for everybody.
It's going to be the wildest one at the bar later.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can
So she used some humor, got him to open up, right? She was listening to what he was saying. She then asked a sorting question. The sorting question she asked, did you guys hear the sorting question? The banter was fast. Did you hear the sorting question she asked? What was it? Who? Are you still looking for a house, or
have you found something yet?
Yeah, should I take you off the list? Have you found something? And what happened to Jan immediately? What happened? He opened up. All of the joking and everything went down. He actually looked down and he was like, well, actually. That's how you guys, should we answer that for you? I got you.
Is it a prospecting call?
Is it a prospecting call? We could do it live.
We do a live tape like up.
It's a live transcript. Should answer.
We'll take it up here.
The thing that when we do prospecting calls, right, we get super nervous about being perfect. I'll tell you, I've listened to more calls than you guys have made. There's no perfect call. Just write that down. There's no perfect call. There's just calls. Just like there's no great hand of cards, there's just hand of cards, and you just happen to get
one that made you some freaking money. All cards are good. All leads are good. It's what you say that matters. So that sorting question dropped him down. But did you also listen? Now, if she said that like the typical person in sales says it, did you buy a house or are you still looking? Are you pre-approved? When do you want to buy that new house? Do you sound like you guys have kids over there? And she's robotic. Do you think Jan would have dropped into actually opening up?
I would have hung up.
He would have hung up. It's not what you always say. It's the way we say it. We're going to go into this deeper later today, so I don't want to, then I'm not going to have anything to talk about. But the brain hears and feels your energy before it actually takes the sounds and creates words and meanings. And we're all fixated on what? Oh, I want the Phil Jones magic words. Don't get me wrong, it's a great book. I got it next to my bedside. Great dude. We met him Cody and I were speaking at an event a couple months ago. We met him. Great, smart dude. But the book isn't going to give you the tonality. It's not going to give you the intention. It's not going to give you the pausing, the calmness. All right? So there's a lot of things that happen there in that banter. But she never got triggered by what he said ever. And she stayed in flow, and that would have been an easy appointment. Guaranteed that would have been an easy appointment. So, thanks for role-playing, you guys. Give our panelists a big round of applause.